Welcome to Legacy of Lands. Today we embark on an epic journey through three of the greatest dynasties in ancient history, the Persian empires of the Achaemenids, Parthians, and Sasanians. From 550 BCE to 651 CE, these empires ruled vast territories, from the Mediterranean Sea to the Indus Valley, shaping the course of human civilization. Their influence in politics, culture, and trade left a lasting legacy that continues to resonate today. Each empire faced its unique challenges and achieved remarkable victories. From the tolerance and innovation of Cyrus the Great, the military tactics of the Parthians, to the cultural renaissance of the Sasanians, these empires helped bridge East and West. Let's dive into the fascinating history of ancient Persia, a land that was both a mighty military power and a flourishing cultural hub. Our journey begins with the rise of the Achaemenid Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great around 550 BCE. Before Cyrus, Persia was a collection of small, fragmented states. However, his leadership and military genius changed that forever. In a series of rapid campaigns, he defeated the Medes, the Lydians, and the Babylonians, expanding the Persian Empire to become the largest the world had ever seen. His conquest of Babylon in 539 BCE is especially significant, as it was achieved without bloodshed. Cyrus entered the city as a liberator, not a conqueror. Cyrus was not only a great general, but also a visionary leader. He laid the foundations of an empire based on tolerance and diplomacy, respecting the customs and religions of the lands he ruled. This policy helped stabilize the vast and diverse empire, allowing it to thrive for centuries. His achievements are encapsulated in the famous Cyrus Cylinder, which is often considered the first charter of human rights, advocating freedom of religion and protection for minority groups. The Cyrus Cylinder is one of the most remarkable artifacts of the ancient world. Found in the ruins of Babylon, this clay document outlines Cyrus' policies of governance, which included freeing enslaved peoples and restoring religious sites across the empire. This policy of tolerance wasn't just a moral decision, it was a strategic one. By allowing different cultures and religions to coexist peacefully, Cyrus minimized rebellion and united a diverse population under his rule. The respect that Cyrus showed for local customs and traditions set a precedent for how future rulers of the empire governed. His model of leadership allowed for local autonomy under the overarching Persian control, a system that created stability in a vast empire with many different ethnic groups. Cyrus' reign marks the beginning of a golden age for Persia, which would be expanded and consolidated by his successors. After Cyrus' death, his successors faced the monumental task of maintaining and managing such a vast empire. Darius I, also known as Darius the Great, took the throne in 522 BCE and significantly restructured the empire. One of his most important reforms was dividing the empire into satrapies, or provinces, each governed by a satrap. These governors had autonomy in managing local affairs, but were closely monitored by royal inspectors, known as the eyes and ears of the king, to ensure loyalty to the central government. Darius also invested heavily in infrastructure to unite the vast empire. He commissioned the building of the royal road, a kilometer enabling swift communication and trade across the road, equipped with relay stations for messengers, allowed news to travel at unprecedented speeds for the time. Darius's administrative innovations laid the groundwork for future empires and ensured that Persia was the most efficient and well-governed states of the ancient world. However, Persia's ambitions didn't stop with infrastructure and governance. The Achaemenid rulers also sought to expand their influence westward, bringing them into conflict with the Greek city-states. Darius I began what would become known as the Greco-Persian Wars by attempting to subdue rebellious Greek cities along the empire's western frontier. This conflict reached its peak under his son, Xerxes, who launched an ambitious campaign to conquer Greece once and for all. Xerxes' invasion is legendary, especially for battles like Thermopylae in 480 BCE, where 300 Spartans and their allies made a heroic last stand. Although the Persians initially won key victories, they were eventually defeated in the naval battle at Salamis. This setback, along with logistical challenges in maintaining a large invasion force so far from home, marked the beginning of a long decline in Persian attempts to dominate Greece. Though the Achaemenid Empire remained powerful, it was not immune to internal strife and external threats. By the late 4th century BCE, the empire had grown too vast and too difficult to manage effectively. In 334 BCE, a young Macedonian king named Alexander the Great launched a campaign to conquer Persia. After several decisive battles, including the famous Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE, Alexander succeeded in overthrowing the last Achaemenid ruler, Darius III. Alexander's conquest was brutal. The burning of Persepolis, a symbolic act of revenge for the Persian invasion of Greece, marked the end of an era. Though Alexander tried to adopt Persian customs and integrate the two cultures, the empire he created fragmented after his death, and Persia would never again see the heights it had reached under the Achaemenids, at least not until the rise of the Parthians. After the fall of the Achaemenids, Persia was ruled by foreign powers, including Alexander's successors, the Seleucids. But in 247 BCE, the Parthians, under the leadership of the Arsacid dynasty, rose to reclaim Persia's independence. The Parthians were known for their exceptional cavalry, particularly the heavily armored cataphracts and the nimble horse archers who could perform the Parthian shot, firing arrows backward while retreating at full gallop. This unique style of warfare allowed the Parthians to become one of the most effective military forces of their time. Their decentralized system of government, where noble families held significant power, gave them flexibility in managing their vast and diverse empire. However, this same system also made the Parthians vulnerable to internal divisions, which would be a recurring theme in their history. The Parthians were not only skilled warriors, but also shrewd diplomats, maintaining a delicate balance of power between the empires to their west and east. Their greatest military rival was the Roman Empire, with whom they fought several wars over control of the eastern Mediterranean. One of the most significant encounters came in 53 BCE at the Battle of Carrhae, where Parthian forces decisively defeated a Roman army led by Crassus. This victory solidified the Parthians as a major power capable of challenging Rome. Despite their military prowess, the Parthians preferred to use diplomacy to manage their relationship with Rome. For centuries, the two empires coexisted, with periodic skirmishes and negotiations over territories in the Middle East. However, the Roman-Parthian rivalry drained both empires, leaving them vulnerable to emerging powers from the east. While the Parthians were famous for their military achievements, their role as a key player in the Silk Road trade network was equally significant. The Parthian Empire controlled crucial sections of the Silk Road, which connected the Roman Empire in the west with China and India in the east. Through this trade route, goods like silk, spices, precious stones, and even ideas flowed across continents, enriching the Parthian Empire and enhancing its cultural diversity. The wealth generated by Silk Road trade enabled the Parthians to maintain a strong economy and build flourishing cities. These cities, such as the capital Ctesiphon, became hubs of cultural exchange, where Greek, Persian, Indian, and Chinese influences mingled. The Parthians played a crucial role in bridging East and West, a legacy that would continue under their successors, the Sasanians. By the early 3rd century CE, the Parthian Empire had weakened due to internal conflicts and external pressures. In 224 CE, Ardashir-Furnir, a descendant of a Persian noble family, overthrew the last Parthian king and established the Sasanian Empire. The Sasanians saw themselves as the rightful heirs to the Achaemenid legacy and sought to revive Persia's glory, both politically and culturally. Ardashir and his successors centralized power, reforming the military and bureaucracy to create a more efficient state. They also promoted Zoroastrianism as the state religion, using it as a unifying force across the empire. The Sasanian rulers were ambitious and aggressive, expanding their territory and frequently clashing with the Roman Empire in a series of bitter wars. Under the Sasanians, Persia experienced a cultural renaissance. The empire became a center of learning and artistic innovation, with influences from Greece, India, and China, blending into a distinct Persian culture. Sasanian art, especially their intricate silverware and textiles, was renowned throughout the ancient world. They also built magnificent cities like Ctesiphon, which became a center of learning and culture. The Sasanians made significant contributions to science, particularly in fields like astronomy and medicine. Their scholars translated Greek and Indian texts into Middle Persian, preserving and expanding upon the knowledge of earlier civilizations. This intellectual and artistic legacy would later influence the Islamic Golden Age after the fall of the Sasanian Empire. Like their predecessors, the Sasanians frequently clashed with the Roman and Byzantine empires. One of their greatest triumphs came under ShapurI, who captured the Roman Emperor Valerian in 260 CE. This victory was a moment of immense pride for the Sasanians, demonstrating their power to the Roman world. For centuries, the two empires would engage in a bitter struggle for control of the Near East. However, these prolonged wars took a toll on both sides, draining resources and weakening both empires. The Sasanians, in particular, faced increasing pressure from nomadic invaders in the east and political instability at home. By the early 7th century, they were locked in a destructive war with the Byzantine Empire, a conflict that would leave both empires vulnerable to a new and powerful force, the rising Islamic Caliphate. By the mid-7th century, the Sasanian Empire was weakened by internal strife and external invasions. In 651 CE, the last Sasanian king, Yazdegerd III, was defeated by the Islamic forces, marking the end of the ancient Persian empires. The fall of the Sasanian Empire marked the beginning of a new era in Persian history as the region became part of the expanding Islamic world. Though the empire fell, the legacy of the Sasanians and the Persian empires before them endured. Persian culture, language, and innovations would heavily influence the Islamic Golden Age, and the foundations of modern Iran are deeply rooted in this rich and ancient history. The story of Persia is one of resilience, cultural brilliance, and lasting impact on the world. The Persian empires, Achaemenid, Parthian, and Sasanian, may have risen and fallen, but their legacy continues to shape the world we live in today. From governance to art, from science to religion, the contributions of these ancient civilizations still resonate across time. Their story is not just one of empires, but of ideas that continue to inspire and influence. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Persian empires. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories from the ancient world, only here on Legacy of Lands. Until next time.